What happened last week when they took a shot?
Take a look what happened.
And they tried to kill the next President of the United States.
The following covers the timeline set by the Washington Bipartisan Oversight Committee that ended at 2:38 p.m. Eastern Time today. So I'll correct just a few things you are about to see. The 9 days of Trump's assassination attempt. They said nothing about Trump being demonized since 2018, which is actually his fourth known assassination attempt, nor about its ripping of the social fabric of the world, but watch a near-death experience, life change unfold. Cheadle was told that on the July the 7th, that 6 days before Trump's appearance, the shooter visited the rally site for early planning. 9 days after the shoot, Cheadle hasn't even visited the site yet. She doesn't know who was the SAIC, that's the person in charge, special agent. She clarified the roof was overwatched, but it wasn't sanitized, then admitted there is no written policy about sloped roofs, that 1 in 12 slope roof can get a disabled ramp. She doesn't know if the roof has been cleaned, nor if the shooter was ever asked about his rangefinder, doesn't know if the gun was already on the roof. She doesn't know after 200 plus hours, then says wait up to 60 days for a report, always referring to the FBI. Only one sniper shot at the shooter. No foreign agent or government inside job evidence is found. She defends that 8,100 agents with $3.1 billion per year needs 1,500 more agents to cover 36 clients. Weirdly, Cheadle said, I quote, "I wouldn't want to say anything that contradicts speculation." Another brain fart of hers, she said, "Texts and email timestamps don't always align." Regarding quitting, I quote her, "Yes, I agree this is the biggest failure since Reagan 1981. Stuart Knight remained on duty. Mr. Cunha said wrong. SK resigned. Mr. Palmer said, I think one explosive was near a gas line. Mr. Biggs, was there a second shooter? No comment. Was he a lone gunman? No comment. Ms. Mace says, I quote, bullshit, you're full of shit, end quote. Mr. Fallon has never shot a rifle before. He reenacted the shot and proved to nick the ear as well. But his other 15 shots killed the reenactment president. I quote, and that kid was a better shot than me. It's a miracle Trump is alive. Not sure if the name is correct as the Fox banner obscures their name, but Alan Austin finally got an answer out of Cheadle that her job would be more difficult as the people arm themselves with increasingly powerful weapons. Mr. Tinman raised, quote, 400-person casino foray was 4 times more guarded than Trump's 20,000-person rally. In reply to Mr. Burchett, Cheadle maintains agents were in that building, end quote. By the way, the local police have said they were in an adjacent building. Burchett added, I quote, I don't think you should resign. You are a nightmare for DEI. I think you should be fired. From Miss Green, 528 Crook's bicycle and bag were captured. Cheadle says a backpack is not a threat. Yet ex-secret agents say backpacks are not allowed there. Mr. Raskin says there's more than one school shooting every day in America, but it's only locally reported. Mrs. McLean got out of her that the FBI director and deputy have told how many shell casings were on the roof and how many explosives were in the car, but Cheadle won't say. Ms. Boabert's second attempt got the first long pause from Cheadle when asked, has she used encrypted apps like Signal to call the White House, which was an eventual no. Cheadle also wrote something down in a notepad during her grilling. After that, in her 2 years tenure, Cheadle admitted Jake Sullivan's residence break-in was another failure of protection. She knows there are more, but couldn't think of another when prompted. Radio is not recorded apparently, just text and email. Local team, not the sniper, took the famous photo. Threat level increased a few seconds before firing. Weirdly, the male speaker said, I quote, maybe when the president wakes up from his nap he will fire you, end quote, even though Biden has already quit. There was a call for perjury. 602 has been refined to 559, as achieving suspicion level. Post-Spectator overheard, "That's what we call a smackdown." Now we return to continue the reminder with over 350 slides and about a dozen videos I've collected all week, so ask me anything you want my scientific opinion of.
You called your opponent an existential threat. On a call a week ago, you said it's time to put Trump in the bullseye.
I didn't say crosshairs. I was talking about focus on it.
President of Ukraine, ladies and gentlemen, President Putin.
Look, the truth of the matter was, what I guess I was talking about at the time was there was very little focus on Trump's agenda.
Yeah, the term is bullseye.
It was a mistake to use the word. I didn't say crosshairs. I meant bullseye. I meant focus on him.
5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. We noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. We're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle.
A rifle.
We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, "Hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle." And the police were like, "Huh, what?" Like they didn't know what was going on. And that's a little bit... He's got a gun! We're like, "Hey, right here on the roof, we can see him from right here. We see him. He's crawling." I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him. 2-3 minutes, Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. Next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
Stay under here.
But you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? I mean, this is not a big place.
Okay, we just be careful because we don't quite know who's watching, but you're pretty sure they shot the guy?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
You saw that happen?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And did you see them go up to him afterwards, or?
They crawled up on the roof. They had their guns pointed at him, make sure he was dead. He was dead, and that was it. It was over.
Here I'll cut to the timeline about the glaring facts they seldom repeat or what they don't tell us at all. T-minus 3 hours from the assassination attempt, therefore after 3 p.m., we are told that Patsy's parents rang the police on their 20-year-old son who hadn't come back from the gun range. We know A, parents are both qualified counselors, but we don't know if he is on medication. They know his state of mind, and he has a rifle his dad bought 11 years ago. B, Trump was an hour late. The parents are Trump supporters, and the shooter gifted Biden $15. So the 12 local police, mostly on traffic duty, would be looking out for his grey Hyundai saloon, but it's not known if his parents knew about a white van that also had explosives in. That was parked near the rally. The cops briefed by the Secret Service, who also couldn't find him for 2 hours. The 20-year-old outsmarted the Secret Service, the SS. A crowd's phone videoed at 5:06, that's approximately 1 hour, 5 minutes and a half before the shooting, sees Mr. Crooks lurking in the background, checking out his surroundings, below his building's shooting point. Either by providence or by coincidental patsy posing, Crooks would have known Trump was 1 hour late. Rather, his phone showed he searched the time the rally was supposed to start, so we can speculate he came down from his position, wondering where his target was. Changing plans on the fly never works, COVID. Somewhere in all this timeline, He was seen returning to his building with a backpack, which are not even allowed, yet he outsmarted the SS. At some point he flew his drone to surveil the rally grounds, perhaps intending to attach some of his explosives to it. The SS, bragging about adding sophisticated technology, did not even have any drones. No high-perch surveillance like the water tower, no helicopter. Crooks outclassed the SS, who didn't bother setting up a military no-fly zone to stop basic drone software. God knows how Crooks got his rifle past the SS and sniffer dogs, not smelling any of his explosives. 5:10. That's 4 minutes later. Crooks was identified by one of the 12 local cops as a person of interest. Interesting. They told their superiors, and in briefings to lawmakers they admitted they lost him. Ghost Crooks vanishes from local police for another 20 minutes. 5:30. The FBI briefing says Crooks was spotted with a rangefinder, and as the other timelines talk about future rangefinders, we can assume the first spot was when Crooks was stopped at the magnetometers, the 1981 measure post-Reagan assassination attempt. It's not against the law, golfers use them, but I wonder what excuse Crook used to outsmart them. Long zoom photographers could use them, but he had just 2 phones and a drone. The latter they don't seem to have known about, until finding it later. Of course rifle users use rangefinders, but he had no rifle known to them. 5:45. Only the BBC gathered local media reports that a sniper officer calls in with a report and a photo of a man who turned out to be Crooks, because he was acting suspiciously around a building, end quote. This might be the famous image taken by the sniper because Crooks was looking at the sniper through the rangefinder, so they were looking at each other through binoculars. Did this spook Crooks? 5:52. That's 7 minutes later. The 2 timelines converge, whereby all the SS know there is a suspicious person on the ground, looking at snipers with a rangefinder. Suspicious. But in the same minutes, the FBI said the SS spotted Crooks on the roof. So the suspicious ground crook is on the roof. That's T-minus 20 minutes until shoot-off. But they can't see a gun, right? They've had 2 hours and 40 minutes of Crook's father calling the police on his rifle-wielding son. Yet all the rest is a conspiracy, right? How dare we ask questions? We just let their chief resign, and they'll tell us all about it in a redacted fashion like JFK. So maybe never. 6:02. Trump enters the stage, and by 6:03 he begins speaking. He has been told all about the interesting, now suspicious guy who matches the description of a rifle wielder. Trump was not advised to wait it out. He was put on a stage as a sitting duck, where it seemed 2 snipers can't see the shooter due to 2 trees in their view. But we are led to believe the other 2 snipers could see the Crooks and give him 1 headshot, but only after letting Crooks take at least 8 shots at Trump while teleporting himself around 3 large different distances by magic. You can see the simple mathematical calculations of bullet velocity versus analyzed audio acoustics. 6:09. Even the rallygoers can see Crooks with a rifle, bear crawling on a pleasantly angled roof. A 25-foot-high roof for 3 months supposedly was too steep to put snipers there, despite 4 other snipers being on their double-steeped roofs. Ginger witness says 3 or 4 minutes of pointing and shooting that a roof guy has a gun. The timeline between FBI and the BBC source of lawmakers' briefings showed 2.5 to 3.5 minutes, end quote, until spray of shots are fired, killing 1 firefighter. Let's quote the FBI's lie. 11 seconds while Crook was firing, snipers located him. Then ABC News adds 15 seconds later. Crooks was shot dead, so both sources add 26 seconds from first shot. Don't they mean subtract ABC's 15 seconds from the alleged 11 seconds of Crook's spray, which give 3 seconds for the sniper to find and shoot Crooks? The answer is for you to listen to the recordings and try to pick away at all the nonsense we are fed.
Trumpomania, make America great again!